I hear correctly that you were about to get sued by Specsavers?
Meet Dan Nugent, a man who's not afraid of a good old lawsuit or a bad review for that matter.
You look at the one-star reviews, all of them is because of my attitude on customer support.
A longtime friend of the podcast, best known for his 7-figure success with Ambr Eyewear.
Like 5x overnight, doing like 6 figures every month. Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. We were like, this is amazing. Didn't like diversify the product range. Sales started dropping 50% per month each month because I pretty much just sold glasses to everybody and they didn't need a new pair.
Now he's starting from scratch in the performance space with his new brand, Everambr.
We turned it into something that was new and just more relevant to our current life.
First thing I noticed was that you weren't tying yourself to eyewear.
€20 CPA with a €115 AOV.
Yeah.
That's amazing, yeah.
This one is a hoot.
So does he take pints of his son's blood and inject it into him?
All right, your points are up. Okay. Let's keep it going here.
Cheers, lads.
Thanks for coming on.
What's the most bizarre customer support ticket that you've ever got? Or annoying? I've fucking like I got one yesterday from someone and they were like, hey, my glasses, this screw came out of them, I lost the screw, do you do repairs? And I was thinking like if this was someone who bought them in like the last year, I'd probably try help them out or whatever. But I looked at the order. She bought the glasses on like Black Friday for like €40. Like 7 years ago. And you're just like, just give up. Like what, if I was going to fix them, what price do you expect it to be? Do you expect it to be less than the €40 that you paid? Including like sending them back to me, taking time out of my day, sending them back to you. Do you think that's going to be like less than €40? Like, I mean, just like, you try not to be like a real bollocks when you're writing back, but like.
What did you write back?
Can we please pull up?
They were just saying like, because she said like, oh, I only bought these like, a couple of years ago. I was like, well, no, they were actually 6 years ago. And unfortunately, it would probably cost more than the price of glasses to repair them. But I'm happy to give you a quote if you want. And then she didn't write back. Imagine getting back onto like Lululemon, going like, hey, the stitching in my shorts that I bought 7 years ago has come off. Like, what planet do you live on? Like,
So sometimes, Dan, we do this thing called meme reviews with founders, where we go online and find their bad reviews and get them to read them out. So we went, So we went online to look up the
recent
bad reviews, but there wasn't that many, to be fair, very few. So there was, but the biggest tell is that you obviously reply within 10 seconds of receiving every bad review because there's just myths coming off them. There's just a redness. As you're reading it, there's no punctuation. It's just like straight 8 lines in a row of just like, well, honestly, it was actually 6 years ago you bought them. Imagine buying fucking Lululemon shorts and the stitching came out 6 years ago and you sent them back.
I was saying something the other day. If you look at the 1-star reviews for Ambr Eyewear or Everambr, all of them is because of my attitude on customers. Not one of them is to do with the product. Literally, like not one. It's like something like the founder is very rude when I complained about my tracking numbers.
I love that you say that as a point of pride. Like the product quality is very high.
Well, definitely. But like, I still feel like in every single one of those situations that I was right.
Do you know what? There's this customer support tools. They're like AI, much politer, fresh politer, much friendlier. Yeah.
That's not on brand. So you mentioned that you've been dealing with some customer reviews for 7 years. That was obviously back when you started your first brand, Ambr Eyewear. You've now moved on to Everambr. I'd love to just very quickly cover Ambr Eyewear before we move on to your new brand, talk about some of the challenges you faced. But even before doing that, can you talk us through where did the idea come from for Blue Light?
So back, it was 2017 and we were like living in a basement apartment in St. myself and my now wife, but we had 2-year-old daughter at the time. And we were still quite young. We were like 26, 27. And all our mates were still out, going out all the time, whatever. And we were at home, mind the baby, which turned out to be a good thing in the end. Because you got to do like we were like, look, I'm just kind of sick of like watching TV at night. I want to try and do something like fairly productive. So I'd always like tried to be entrepreneurial and like wanted to start my own business. I think the previous year I'd bought a load of those hoverboards from China and I was selling them on done deal. So I got a little bit of a flavor for like buying stuff in. and selling it. So we're trying to think of loads of ideas. We're thinking of like organic baby clothes, constantly just back and forth trying to think of something. While at the same time, we were spending a lot of time looking at screens, and like my eyes were like physically sore. I was like, Jesus, my eyes are actually killing me of working on the laptop, watching TV at night, especially during the winter. And then also with the baby, like we weren't getting that much sleep. Heard about blue light and the effects of it on some podcasts, Joe Rogan or something, I don't know. And then I bought a pair off Amazon and I started wearing them around the house, and they made a big difference to me. And we were still talking about what the idea for a product was, and Sacha was like, geez, I got an idea. What about those glasses? But we'll just kind of make them pill. And that was like kind of where the idea came from. And she had a design background. I was working in a digital marketing agency at the time. Like I was pretty inexperienced, but I still kind of had a basic idea. So we just started like building a website. And as you know, when you're starting an e-commerce, like at the time I would have said, oh, we designed the glasses, but like very...
Were you drop shipping?
No, it wasn't drop shipping. It was very much like white labeling process. Like picked some frames that we liked, bought a small quantity in, had them in the gaff, made the website, invited our good looking friends down for a photo shoot, which we did over in Haddington Hotel. Lashed the website up, and then like within a week we'd sold out. Like it was mad. Yeah. It was a week or 2 weeks.
Is this like 50 glasses?
No, this was about 250.
Wow.
Yeah, but the way that happened was I sent a pair to a journalist in Love in Dublin who it was way more red back then.
Yeah.
And she like did a review, and she was like, everybody that works at a screen needs to buy glasses from this new Dublin brand. It was like the most complimentary review ever, completely free. And then like sold loads of pairs, and you see like the Google Analytics like live website numbers was like popping up. And then like Roz Purcell was a friend of a friend, and she did a post about it. And then you started getting loads of like the Irish media, maybe not so much anymore, but back then they kind of loved a good homegrown story, and that was quite unique. It was weird, like kind of boyfriend girlfriend start selling glasses from their basement, and everyone's buying them, and all the influencers are wearing them. So then it just kind of snowballed from there. And
Yeah, because those glasses pretty big, and you got into retail, Brown Thomas.
got into Brown Thomas, yeah, very surreal experience. That came about because my dad swims in the 40 foot. Well, he lives in Portugal now, but he used to swim the 40 foot every morning, and he ended up making friends with one of the buyers for the mail.
Wow.
Thing. Put him in touch with me. He was like, oh yeah, send him into the office in Brown Thomas to meet me. I didn't dress up for the occasion or anything. I didn't think anything was going to come from it. I thought it was just going to be an informal chat, and he'd like tell him like, see you later, never see him again. And I went in, I put loads of glasses in like a backpack, wore a t-shirt, had like tattoos out, looked like an absolute gobshite, and walked into Brown Thomas, and I showed him the glasses, and he was go, yeah, we'll stock them, like straight away. I was like, what the fuck? That was easy, and I was buzzing when I came out. But the process after that was very difficult. We did like, it had to be like 6 to 8 months of iterations on what the stand would look like. We had to get like an outside design agency, but we put the money into it because like it was going to be really cool to be there. Eventually we agreed on the design. They invited us in at to Brown Thomas at like 2 a.m. in the morning to install the stand so that when it opened up in the morning, it would be there. And just sitting on the couch in Brown Thomas, like there was 2 stands, women's and men's, and just watching the thing that we'd only had this brand for like a year, and it was still coming out of our kitchen. And it was going in beside like Tommy Hilfiger, Kenzo and stuff. Very surreal.
It's amazing.
But like class. It was so good. Really, really cool experience. Like it didn't turn out great in the end with Brown Thomas. I think you need to maintain a stand in retail very well. And we just didn't have the resources to like have somebody there to constantly clean glasses, make sure the stand was in pristine condition. And I just felt like, because you've got such a high turnover of staff in Brown Thomas, like they don't give a shit about your brand.
Yeah.
You know, so like every time I'd go in, they'd be all like wrecked. You know?
Yeah. Did you see much of an uplift though?
No, we did. Like we got like the initial PO was really big, and it was class. It was like a lovely little injection of cash like early on, probably allowed us then to like keep on expanding the range, adding new glasses, whatever, just trying to make everything look a little bit more professional. But from a marketing perspective, it was class because it just really added trust to the whole brand. And we could put pictures on the website of like the Brown Thomas stand. It looked really good.
Do you see that halo effect then on the D2C side?
100%. Yeah. Sure. From then on, like from 2017 up until 2021, like it was just like going up and up and up and up, like to the point where I met Jack first. End of 2019 was kind of later on. I was probably 6 to 8 months after Brown Thomas, because they were kind of annoyed that we were opening a pop-up shop beside them around Christmas period, but and it ended up being okay.
I actually originally found you via one of those articles. It might have been the Loving Dublin one. I went on searching like e-commerce companies, Dublin, and a lovely picture of yourself and Sacha popped up, looking very happy, couple with your glasses on, It's like
The really cheesy corporate photo shoot.
like
for the business post.
Exactly.
They send out some lad, like, he's been working for them for like 40 years.
And I went online and bought 4 pairs of glasses, I think.
Yeah.
If I'm right. Bought 4 pairs with the idea being, well, like, I don't know which frames will suit, so I'll buy 4 of them. And then ended up coming in to figured out you had a pop-up shop and came into and messaged you. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I do remember it because you kept on buying glasses on the website, and I was like, "Who is this?"
And
prick?
returning them.
Because that's what I thought. Because he was buying one of every pair of glasses, and I was like, "This prick is going to break my heart because he's going to return like 8 pairs of glasses."
So I emailed info. Go on.
Or he's building a knockoff brand.
Or both. So I emailed info at Ambr Eyewear, and as you said earlier, incredibly rude customer support.
Did you ask a stupid question?
No, I didn't. I actually said I need to return a few, and you had a pop-up shop in Dublin. So you said, why don't you pop into the shop in Dublin? So I remember I called in to the shop, and at the time we just started Wayflyer, and we had 1 customer, maybe 2, I think, customers. And I had it in my head, you know what? I'm going to go and return these glasses to your man, charm him a little bit, talk to him a little bit, and then I'm just going to offer him 10 grand and see if he wants 10 grand. And I still remember going in and asking him and talking to him. I spent like 30 minutes talking to him. There's customers coming in, and you're like, why the fuck is this guy sitting on the couch still? Like, why isn't he left yet? And then eventually I kind of plucked up the courage to be like, look, we actually lend money to ecom businesses. Do you need money for stock? And he was like, yeah. I was like, we could give you 10 grand. And he was like, He's like, who the hell are you? And why are you offering me 10 grand? But yeah, we ended up...
But I actually really needed it at the time.
You did really bad.
Because I'd opened the shop, and you basically needed to double the inventory like for that period. But so that like worked actually really well. But definitely thought you were a bit of a con artist at the time. I was a bit skeptical.
Still do.
Do you lads think that to be a successful online brand, you need to think about that retail element?
I definitely think that like the first thing you should do is definitely bake in the at least 2.5x markup into the price of your product. So if you do end up going into retail, you don't have, because like that's the problem. That was the problem with me going into Brown Thomas. They're like, we need at least 60% margin, and we were selling the glasses for like €55 at the time. So when you took that down, took away VAT, they actually said that it was 2.5 for them, divided by 2.5 for them, including VAT. So you couldn't add VAT on top of it. So we were pretty sure we were like making like, I don't know, €2 per pair of glasses.
Sure.
Making nothing. So that was a regret. So like if you're going to go into you might not plan on going into retail, but like bake it into the price at the start.
Okay, interesting.
I would say.
Which is, you wouldn't sacrifice that margin for the halo effect or the overall marketing you could use from going in there, no? Not worth it.
In the end, it wasn't worth it.
Okay. Interesting. What do you lads think?
Maybe. I don't know.
I think you have to bake the margin in at the start. Like Dan said, like you've got to, if you want to build, depends on what your aim is. Like a lifestyle brand, well, then that's a very different thing. Yeah. You're trying to build a big brand. You're eventually, if all going well, going to have to go into retail. Like it's the easiest way to go from 10, 20 million to 30, 40 million, isn't it? And so, yeah, the margin's going to be small, but like hopefully you've no marketing costs to a certain extent. So it evens out a little bit, Give Meta your money or give Brand Thomas your money. Someone's going to get it.
Yeah.
So,
I think in the CPG space, it's a non-negotiable. You just have to assume at some point you're going to be in supermarkets or, independent retailers. Like apparel is slightly different because you can have your own stores and you can just build out that line. But yeah, I think in this day and age, like during COVID, there were a lot of brands spun off, took advantage of that online shopping boom. And within the last 2 or 3 years now, we're seeing that shift towards suddenly everybody wants to get into retail. Yeah.
Just like more dependable.
Yeah, exactly.
suppose.
Yeah, yeah.
At the highs then with Ambr Eyewear, did I hear correctly that you were about to get sued by Specsavers that you were doing?
Yeah, well, yeah, that was very funny, ridiculous, like ridiculous, like, very mean. It's like one day we were like just in the apartment in Dunleary, and a big box like of documents arrived. And I was, what the fuck is this? Yeah, like, so some lad is like has to wait there until you sign it to make sure you've received it.
Yeah.
And I opened it, and it was like loads of like screenshots of our website, like zoomed in of the glasses with the word Aurora, right? Which is like printed on the inner temple of like one out of like 50 styles at the time. They're just printed there. And Aurora is my daughter's name. So like I had a legit reason to call the frame Aurora. Yeah. And then you're reading through it and they're like, oh, you're trying to like piggyback off the Specsavers range called the Aurora range. Like who knows any ranges from Specsavers? And they'd sent like the brochure for the Aurora range. And like it didn't even say Aurora on it. Like, it was just this random trademark that they had. And they decided to be like super aggressive about it. And they were like trying to get us to do like a product recall. And I think we'd sold like 10,000 pairs of this like Aurora frame particular. No, maybe it wasn't that many. It was maybe like 5,000 pairs of the Aurora frame. And a lot of them were like abroad, like a lot of them in the US, wanted us to pay them compensation, recall all the pairs, like just crazy stuff for like a small boyfriend, girlfriend brand at the time. So I had to get like a trademark solicitor. And she was like, this is very strange. They're being weirdly aggressive about this. I presume that Specsavers, that's why they're so successful. They probably try and like crush any potential competition like very early. They've got like a specific like legal HQ in the Netherlands which does all this type of stuff, which I later found out. Anyway, lots of back and forth, but I ended up getting out of it because they didn't sell blue light glasses. Oh. So it was actually a different product. Yeah. But then they were like, okay, we'll drop everything, but we hear you're in Brown Thomas, and we're going to send somebody into Brown Thomas now to make sure that none of the Aurora glasses are on display in Brown Thomas. I was like, fuck. So like ran straight to the dart station, got the dart in with a pocket of nail varnish remover, and like went into Brown Thomas to like the stand of Brown Thomas, took the Aurora frames off, and then like on the inside it's just a little bit of print, and I got the nail varnish remover and just rubbed off the word Aurora, and then just put it back on the display. I was like, whew. Hopefully it got there before them, which it did, and then the whole thing went away.
So you're on their radar though. I got the feels that how successful things were.
It was pretty good. Yeah. So what they try to have like a real monopoly in Ireland. I think they're kind of like it's a good company obviously, but they're kind of aggressive in the way they go about things. Like if you go in there and you get an eye test, you have to like fight them for your prescription.
Oh,
No, they don't give it to you on a piece of paper like most other places.
Yeah, sure.
You have to like beg them, and then they might leave out a bit of information so you can't buy them elsewhere. Yeah. So you kind of are stuck to them.
So Ambr Eyewear, obviously Specsavers, you got into Brown Thomas and stuff like that. What went wrong in it? Because we've talked about it a few times over the years, ups and downs of it.
Yeah. I think I kind of know exactly what went wrong. It was just being like naive and inexperienced basically, but that like how that manifested itself was like during COVID, like as soon as the lockdown happened and everyone was looking at screens all day, like it literally just like went like 5x overnight. Like it was honestly crazy, like just how much business every single day consistently just cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. We were like, fuck, this is amazing. I think maybe because I was preoccupied with the baby coming as well, I probably wasn't really thinking about it. I was just like taking it for granted. It was like, brilliant, look, I'm making loads of money. Like I was actually just looking at the Wayflyer app there to go back and look at like that period and look at my the sales MER like from it for the 2-year period 2020 to 2022. It's like a 29.5 MER and the cost per acquisition was €5. So it was spending nothing on marketing and it was all organic because we were ranking number 1 for blue light glasses. Blue light glasses were a trending product at the time. And so like no work was going into acquiring these customers. So in hindsight, it was a bit of a fluke. Do you know what I mean? But so like, it's making loads of money. And I just think like, I probably wasn't making as much profit as I thought I was. I was looking at that revenue figure going like, brilliant. And then when it came to replenish stock, pay wages, have the rent, I actually wasn't really left with much money. And I was wondering to myself, like, why is this difficult? I should be like flush with cash. Not understanding like my finances properly, but then also like completely naively thinking that like there was an unlimited market in Ireland. So I was saying to Dylan when I came in, I saw a purchase the other day from someone and it was their second purchase. And, you know, sometimes I see a second purchase, I wonder, when was the first purchase? This lad bought his first pair in 2017. So like from an LTV perspective, glasses aren't the best thing. So during COVID, what I probably should have been doing when people were buying glasses is thinking about what I can sell to them 6 months down the line, do you know? But I wasn't. I was like doubling down on the stock we had, thinking that like that was going to continue. So then when things opened up again in 2022 and like sales started dropping 50% per month each month, because I pretty much just sold glasses to everybody and they didn't need a new pair and I had nothing else to sell them.
Some people had 8 pairs.
Exactly. So they're like, but that's exactly it. So like the two mistakes there is like I didn't like diversify the product range to be able to sell new things to these newly acquired massive amount of customers because they didn't need it. And then also I hadn't got out of Ireland. I hadn't really got out of Ireland. I think like 70% of sales were Ireland, 20% in the US and 10% in the UK. But like I never really tried to get out of Ireland. I should have left myself with more money to buy new shit to like sell customers, which I didn't because I didn't have enough money left over. And I also wasn't thinking that way. I was thinking like I just need to replenish exactly what I have.
Was there a eureka moment? Like, was there a moment where you're like, do you know what? Actually, this doesn't make sense. I've gone too far now the other side, and it is time to.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because you find yourself. I found myself like in the 2 years kind of after that, just like sending out emails to like existing customers with like discounts, like summer sale. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's just a slog, you know, like that. And you started to lose passion for it. And I think like Ambr in general after that, like from the highs of it was and what we thought it was obviously very disappointing, but like you learn a lot of lessons and it's a good thing. Like, you know, it's a good thing like failing so badly at that because like you're not going to make that same mistake again. And so in the 2 years after that, Ambr kind of became a bit of a burden on me and Sacha. We kind of hated it. Yeah. So we were always thinking about like, what should we do here? Like we don't want to just keep churning out emails and just ticking over and stuff like that. So we could have killed it or we could have like turned it into something that was new and just something that was like more relevant to our current life or like something more passionate about. And that was when we just started thinking about like, how can we just kind of like freshen it up a little bit? That's where we are now.
To jump back then, because I don't think you're the only brand who faced that problem of having a single SKU that did really well initially and then began to struggle.
So I wouldn't call it a single SKU, but like a single type of product. Yeah, there was like lots of different styles and stuff, but it's actually the same product.
If you were back in that position now, what would have been your second product?
Ooh. Jesus, I don't know. And I probably could have done... I probably could have turned into like a Meller type brand where I just churn out like
Different version.
Yeah, different version or like collaboration frames with like a famous person. I probably would have had enough money to do something like that with like a relatively well-known person in Ireland. Like something like that where you're doing like limited edition collection, just keeping the excitement going rather than just like, these are the frames, buy them and I'm going to replace them and we're just going to keep selling them over and over again. Do you know? Like rather than that.
And sunglasses? Did you do sunglasses?
I did a bit of sunglasses, but I never really put any. Sunglasses are very competitive. Those fashiony, cheap fashiony sunglasses. Like there's a lot of, you see like Meller, there's a brand called D. Franklin.
Yeah.
And
always hit by them.
These brands, like they're able to churn out like 100 new styles every few months. It's like, how can you compete with that? Yeah. You can't. You need to find like, if you're going to sell glasses, you need to find maybe some kind of niche to differentiate yourself, I thought. Do you know?
It's a nice segue into...
Yeah.
Is that the biggest learning you took from Ambr Eyewear, which was you have to go multi-product here?
You have to go multi-product. Yeah, you have to be able to, you know, if you have all these customers, you have to be able to sell them something every like, I don't know, minimum, you know better than me probably, but 6 to 12 months, you have to have them purchasing something again or at least have something that they can buy.
Yeah. Within 6 months, I think, isn't it? Or else you want a second purchase. So.
Yeah, it's mad. Like just when I think about back in the day when I started Ambr, sorry, we'll get into Everambr, but like Gym Plus Coffee and Sculpted by Amy, we were always at the same events. And I think we were like similar like revenue, maybe they were a little bit more at the time in 2017, but we all started in pretty much the same year. Yeah. But like just because of the nature of their businesses, Oh, sorry, that's underestimating how good they are. There's lots of other reasons, obviously, but like obviously one of the reasons is they were kind of snowballing customers, whereas I was just like kind of one and done, almost like So when you think about like imagine like selling cosmetics back then and acquiring the amount of customers that we did, it's much easier to make it work.
Yeah,
especially like in a small market, having a low LTV product like glasses, it's really hard.
Yeah. I remember Gym Plus Coffee were obviously an early enough customer, but they would have, maybe it was like an 80 quid basket size first order, but within 6 months they're at like 140. So it's like they're nearly doubling it over the first 6 months. That's going back to 2019. Like I have no idea what it's like now, but that's
So like another learning from Ambr, like and being like multi-product is it's not only that you have other stuff to sell people, but it's also like that bundling thing you're talking about, making those carts bigger. So like now I just have like a running thing in the websites where it's like, we're on the website where it's like add any second pair of glasses, get 50% off the second pair. And like since I started doing that, the AOV's gone from like 80 quid to about like 115.
Nice.
And like that second pair, even though they're getting a good discount on it, it just kind of covers all the shipping and tax, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, like that wouldn't have happened if it was just blue light, maybe. You're not really going to buy, you might not buy two saws except you. But but yeah, definitely having like multi-product, and again, like dropping the eyewear as well. I want to kind of move away from, I don't want to be tied to eyewear.
Yeah.
I want to be able to like do like random products that fit in with like the ethos, like, yeah.
There's one thing I noticed about your website, which I really liked. The first tab you go to, it's not like the usual, which is shop, glasses. It was by activity, and you're not picking glasses, you're picking sleep, focus, cycling, running.
Yeah.
You're actually starting an activity that then brings you to inevitably multi-products, which I like that idea. You're thinking about the activity, the thing, not the product you're selling.
Yeah, and I think like in the future, like I want to like just plug more products into those activities. Do you know what I mean? Depending on, I don't know how I feel. Or like the seasonality, like is it like coming up to winter now? Like I've got like a technical windbreaker in production now, and that will like fit in nicely into like the running category. But it's like being able to have the flexibility to just launch like kind of random little products like that is what I couldn't really do with Ambr Eye.
It was the first thing I noticed was that you weren't tying yourself to eyewear.
Yeah.
That when you focus activity first,
Yeah.
the scope is limited.
Yeah, you can do anything.
Yeah.
You can have fun as well with the brand.
You can have
I'm looking
fun.
at some of your Instagram and your website, and you've clearly done a couple of cool shoots as well.
Yeah, like trying to do content for blue light glasses for 7 years is just virtually impossible. Like it's like somebody in Google like wearing glasses when they're at a screen. Like how can you make that interesting? And then when you move to like sports glasses, like suddenly you've just got all these influencers that you can like send pairs to, and there's like unbelievable content coming out, like marathon videos and like ultra videos. Right, this is amazing. This is so easy to know. So even like that from a content perspective, the like performance in sports, the leg side is just way better as well, and just so much more interesting. Like so much more interesting.
I love Dan. By the time you get to 40 or towards 40, it's your main product's just going to be Lycra, and you're just going to be wearing that. Like we just all know you're going to have that cycling Lycra on all day long,
And earplugs for
yeah,
for sleeping.
Any other learnings you've taken from Ambr Eyewear into Everambr?
Just know your financials as well. Like just like kind of aim for like a 70 to 80% gross margin. This is not really possible, is it?
Yeah.
Like Ambr was lucky that like it was so organic. So I never really spent that much money on performance marketing, but I just think that was like a kind of a fluky once-off. Whereas now, like the ads that are running for Everambr, like you're probably looking at like a 20 euro CPA. So like, I wouldn't have been able to.
Yeah, pretty good.
I wouldn't have been able to do that with the price point that I was selling Ambr for. Yes. So like, you definitely need to have about like 80% gross margin is really nice, and you have that little bit of flexibility, and it also ties into the retail. So just like coming out from the start, just planning that whole side of things way better.
Sorry, a 20 euro CPA with a 115 euro AOV.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
A lot of it's repeat business though. Still.
Yeah, still.
You used to always talk about that magic metric, CAC to LTV, 3-1. Is that 3-1? 3-1, yeah.
3-1 or higher, you're laughing.
You're above that. Well above that, sorry.
Yeah. I feel like I launched Everambr too late in the summer. I launched in like late May Whereas if you look at when sunglasses are bought, they start getting bought in February. But I feel like I'm nicely kind of set up for next year. I've got, as you can see from the shipping container, I've got like a nice batch of stock there that will set me up for next summer pretty well. It's just trying to find out now, like, how to tide myself through the winter, because people aren't going to be buying sunglasses. So that's what I'm talking about, like having the flexibility to put in other products. And then we've got the other glasses for like nighttime for sleep.
Would you go after the Australian market?
Could, yeah. If you want to give me some tips, just, yeah.
What about skiing though?
Skiing, yeah, because like loads of people are wearing these type of glasses skiing now, I think. Yeah, I definitely would. I just feel like content would be really hard to produce for that.
If you were market research, if he was to add a product to it, what would you buy?
Goggles. 100%.
Goggles, the MOQ on goggles is massive. I look
Goggles for skiing.
Yeah.
They already kind of look like goggles.
Yeah.
So like strapping them on and going skiing or snowboarding, perfect.
Brendan Kern said that to me as well. He said ski goggles are great business because everybody loses them and they buy they buy another pair. Yeah,
That's a really good point.
Yeah. So Sacha, it's not going to be a 7-year wait for the next purchase.
Jamie, what would you suggest?
I think if you take the approach where you're thinking about activity first, like there's so many of those activities that happen in winter. So running, I would probably go down the beanie, the cap, the cheesy flashlights on the head, the choice of people I run. And I'd probably go down more
For the winter?
Yeah, running gear for winter, cycling, hats, beanies.
Yeah, I think, but there's nice flexibility there. And like, I even think with Ambr, like if you look at the logo of Ambr, it's just like a little squiggly line.
Yeah.
And I started seeing that squiggly line loads of places. And I think it's like on your phone and you're like, it's not like, I think Sacha robbed it or something. Basically. So I started seeing it at Web Summit. They had the little squiggly line on all their branding. And so I think like even just like the Ambr Eyewear as a brand did well, but I think it was a very like immature kind of brand. So like I'm obviously biased, but like I think like the new like logo is much better and it looks good on clothes, whereas like the little squiggle wouldn't really look good on clothes. But like now I think the logo looks pretty slick. It looks good on a hat that I gave Ian over there. You got a hat, you got hats there. Like
It's also distinctive. Like
it's a little bit more distinctive.
Yeah.
It's the other one was too plain. So like it's a little bit of like a mature brand. It gives you a little bit more like flexibility to put it on shit, you know? Whereas like,
So you're saying the logo only got good when your wife robbed it off.
no, she did that one. She did that one as well, so she won't be offended.
As well as going multi-product then and trying to upsell, cross-sell, have you thought about any other growth tactics for Everambr versus Ambr Eyewear?
So like, you know, the like MOQs for, you know, obviously because we're basically starting again, so there's not like a lot of money there. So this summer I spent like a shitload of cash on the inventory, didn't have that much money left over for marketing. But what I did find having lots of success with, and it's so good, is just, and it's so obvious, and it sounds dumb, but just like finding great creators, video content creators in the space, and just sending as much free product as you possibly can, and just viewing that as your marketing budget. You know, I've got, 10,000 pairs of glasses here. I'm going to fire out loads of them. The cost to me isn't really that big. And in return, I'm getting just loads of videos. And I'd just be learning how to use CapCut, chopping them up, turning them into ads, turning them into social content. And I think that was like really cool because I'd meet people and they'd be like, geez, I'm seeing like the Everambr videos everywhere because I was consistently just putting up other people's content that they've recorded. I just think that was like a really, really good little hack. Like if you don't have the budget to be doing like big productions, just sending them out to like content creators regardless of how many followers they have.
Do they need to be content creators that are in this space, the running space?
Yeah. Like I went kind of hell for leather in the running in the summer. But I'm gonna have to find like I'm gonna have to kind of bring it back a little bit now in the winter. I'm still kind of like trying to figure it out.
It's funny, we'd met on a few weeks ago, and since June, he's pushed very much into gifting. So they're gifting product to about 100 to 150 influencers per month, and they have close to doubled their sales since June.
Wow.
Monthly sales since June from that. And they're just trying to find more people to gift to.
Is that like through affiliate links or?
No, they're working with an agency to find ultimately the influencers and using some tools to manage it and stuff like that. But But yeah, that's literally just sending it out, getting addresses for people, sending it out, hoping they put it up. 50% don't. It's obviously a nice packaging, but similar to you, like it's very easy to put up content. If I'm out running, pop on the glasses, put up a video. Like it's very organic.
And the cost,
the cost of me is nothing there. Because they're like, oh my God, I just got like an 80 euro pair of glasses, I'm buzzing, but like the cost to you isn't that much. So
we say with anyone now making like a food product or supplement product, like the packaging has to be
Instagrammable.
Yeah, it has to be Instagrammable. Like that's nearly the most important thing. Don't make it cool, don't make it scientific, like make it pop on camera. So an influencer wants to make a like post about it. And then you're sorted, you know. So
I think the double benefit as well is if you can get them to post it from their own socials, but if you can then use that as your paid ads yourself, I think like that's your creative budget plus your influencer budget kind of working together.
Definitely at the start when you don't have enough money to kind of like do a big production shoot. I think like with Ambr, I always did like expensive. Like I had a TV ad. Like that was stupid in hindsight.
that actually published on.
Actually, it was on Sky. Yeah. No way. Yeah. Like, and just thinking about it, was just like that is so dumb. Like, so I'd only ever dealt with like I think it was because I had like a marketing agency background that I always thought of like producing ads was like producing like high end, big productions. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like now, I'm just so jealous of people who are able to make amazing videos just on their like people who own brands. Who are just like really comfortable in front of the camera and like know how to take nice shots, know how to like edit it together to make good videos for really cheap. I'm so jealous of them. Like I think over the next 3 months, I'm going to leave. I'm going to try and like figure out how to do that a lot better. But it's just like what me and Sacha are really good at is like maybe just the static images and graphics and graphic design and branding and stuff, but not so much the stupid videos that dominate e-commerce now, which is so like I wish e-commerce wasn't like that.
UGC videos
are just constant feeding into the fucking shite of just like check out my run fist today. Like I wish we didn't have to do those videos, but like I think you do. You know you're becoming old when you start saying, geez, those stupid videos that all the kids are putting up these days, huh? But like I've talked to a few people and they're just like, I just wouldn't start an e-commerce brand because it requires too much of a kind of like that, like churning out content all the time. And then like starting to like view it. Like I go for a run and if I run earlier, I'm like, God, should I be recording this? And I just don't want that to happen. Yeah. So I don't know.
So sorry, walk us through the TV ads. You just ring up Sky and you're like, I want to run an ad.
This is actually another kind of funny story. But some salesman from Sky got onto me and it was called like Sky On Demand ad service. So what they're trying to do is like bring a kind of a Google AdWords meta targeting approach to it. So they like have data on the box owners and all the houses, so you can choose like the demographic that you want to show the ad to. But he was like, look, we have a deal. We're offering like startup Irish brands a slot before the Lions tour, which was like 2019, potentially 2020. And it was pretty cheap or whatever. And I was like, we'd done a really good ad with Jack Cantrell, you know him. Yeah. And we were like, we could repurpose this ad for the Sky thing. Your man reached out to me like, I think it'd be good to see how this works. And I was at a stag on the weekend on the opening game of the Lions tour, and I was like, lads, my ad's gonna come on, like fucking brilliant. Like let's all sit down in the pub and watch it. And he told me it was going to be on like just before kickoff, and we were watching the ad break and it never came on. I was so disappointed. And obviously, like when I got home, I was just like frantically like, where was it? He was like, oh, it was shown. They showed me the time. He said it was going to be before kickoff, but it was actually like an hour before during like the pre coverage. So I actually ended up getting a full refund from Sky. But that ad ran on Sky for like a month and no lift whatsoever. Like we got the schedule and it was being shown at like 5:30 on Challenge TV, like 5:30 a.m. on Challenge TV. So like lesson learned, like never. It was a real vanity project. Like you had like the first time it was shown on the TV, like had my mum over and we're like, there it is.
Were you in the ad?
I wasn't in the ad. No.
surprising given your massive ego.
But no, we got the ad made for like social media, but it was like too high production. It just wasn't it just wasn't really a social media ad. I think that like when we started Ambr, Instagram was very curated with like nice pictures and like nice high production videos, but I think people became very immune to that, and then it shifted towards UGC. I don't really know where it is now. It's maybe now it's in more like actually interesting videos or like, I don't know, good storytelling, whether it's high production or whether it's UGC. But it went through that UGC phase and now it's kind of coming back. But I never really got onto the UGC buzz, and I wish I did, because I never really learned how to make those videos or got comfortable in front of the camera. Like,
You were touching there on creative and churning out content. Or is there any, obviously AI is the topic of basically the world these days. Are you using any AI tools?
I've started using Midjourney, and I have an ad running at the moment for the sleep glasses, which I'm trying to, can't do them, but the ones with the red lenses. But I didn't get any product photography shot for them, but I described what they were. I got like downloaded like prompts in Midjourney, like a Notion doc with loads of prompts, like a full-on essay you put into it, and then you replace the product, you describe your product within the thing, and ended up getting some like amazing AI generated images of like these glasses like beside a laptop in the dark on a bedside table, and then just like took the Midjourney image, put it into Photoshop, added the logo on the lens, and then added like text, running it as an ad, and I'm selling loads of these. Like, seriously? Yeah, it's class. And I haven't even done one single photo shoot with them. Well, Ian came over and took pictures of me in my bed without I couldn't run those as ads. But like, honestly, like for
in between you and Sacha.
But like honestly, like I did. I've done like, do you know when you see those expensive product shoots and they've got like, you know, little props like boxes and a little palm tree and like all that type of stuff, and there's like a colorful background. Paid a lot of money for that in the past, but you can actually do that now very easy for free in your gaff in 20 minutes if you've got the right prompts, and then you can move it into Photoshop and get someone who's pretty handy at Photoshop to just kind of tweak it so it looks like your product. But like honestly, it's I feel like that barrier to entry is going to be just like eroded pretty soon, and it's great. Like it's great when you're like on a tight budget, you know?
Yeah. And I think where we are right now with the imagery, we're going to like video will catch up in the next 2 years, 2-3 years. I think we're seeing the same.
Have you seen the ones? I think it's like magicads.ai where you put your homepage URL in, and then it will generate a video where it's like some avatar fake person in the bottom right saying like, "Oh, Everambr makes sports glasses," and he's pointing behind him, but it's like scrolling through your homepage but they've taken all the context from your website and turned it into a little person talking about your website. Yeah. With like the screen recording of the website behind you. But it's perfect ads. You could run it. Yeah. Do you know? And so, no, I think that's really, really exciting. And I think like for how expensive product photography is, there's just going to be like a massive unlock there. Huge. You know?
So I think it gives an advantage to smaller brands to compete with the big guys.
100%. I've got another, my phone, pass my phone there. I've got this, so if you see that jacket that I have,
It's a windbreaker. Here it is here.
that's the ad that I'm running.
Oh, it's very good, isn't it?
I've seen it. I actually get it, yeah.
It's like fully AI generated.
That is class.
See that jacket there, right? And now the neon strip on the back of it,
Just in there.
I need to make that a little bit, it's a bit too fat for my liking. But I was trying to generate some like Midjourney images, and it was like this is meant to be.
Is that? Oh, that's just like a fake image.
It's a completely fake image. So what I'll do with that? So I described that it was like woman running down a stone pier that juts out into the sea, and it's raining. She's wearing a black jacket. There's a neon strip down her back. So what you do is like you transfer that into Photoshop, and just add the Everambr logo down there, and like you've actually just got now that the green on the ground is a little bit funky, but I like it. So like if you block that, like that's a 2,000-3,000 euro photo shoot, like, you know?
It's kind of like the old school Nike just do it ads. There's somebody out running early morning. Yeah.
So like I think I'm really excited over that. Like I think that whole thing, I'm just paying loads of attention to it, and because I just think for someone, if you're starting out a brand, that just gives you like, it really democratizes the whole like content production side of things.
Is there anything else outside of Midjourney that you're using right now?
What are we using? You should definitely be using some of those customer service tools anyway.
I think Canva has some good stuff on it, but I haven't used it.
You have to feed that your own data to train it, so you're going to have to feed it your responses or reviews. Most aggressive bot ever.
Like, under no circumstance, give a refund.
Have you ever heard of that agency called Common Thread Collective? Yeah. Do you know them? Yeah, big time. Taylor Holiday. But they have some lad working for them, and he's got like gone kind of viral on D2C Twitter. He's created this like this tool where you put in like model shots, like studio shots of like a still person, like someone just standing there wearing a t-shirt. But then now you put it in and it turns them into a video. So they'll like move and turn around and walk and stuff. And it's like unbelievable. Like it looks like a proper high-end shoot, like video shoot.
Can I ask you something, Dan, around, because the first thing that came to my head when I saw the like Everambr running club was that Dan went, running club communities, I'm going to cash in on those bad boys.
Yeah, I'm actually glad you asked that, because I did do that. Yeah, and I was like I do run like, but I'm not like, I did a marathon last year and I run the odd time, but I do loads of other stuff. Like I'm just kind of, thanks, that's it. I didn't feel really authentic doing that for the 2 months that I was trying to do it, you know? And so I think like if you're trying to build a brand, like authenticity is like very, very important. So like trying to like cash in on the run club phase and the run club craze, and I just didn't really feel that authentic to me, yeah.
Yeah, fair. What is authentic then?
I'm still trying to figure it out, but like I feel like this is gonna be so embarrassing. but like I think like as I get older, and like mid 30s, like I find less enjoyment going out on the piss. Do you know? Like what makes me happy is like if I wake up fresh on a Saturday, I go for a run, I might finish off in the 40-foot, go for a swim, I'll come back, maybe I'll get like 2 hours of work done, and then I'm like buzzing. Like that's like me, like peak, like endorphins flowing, and then, you know, get a good sleep at night. So like all that boring stuff to me, like that kind of keeps me sane and keeps me like productive. And I think all those things are interconnected. Like the better I exercise, the happier and the more productive I am. And obviously like the better I sleep, the better I exercise. And I think all those stuff are interconnected. So I think like for people maybe in like over 30, probably, maybe more so, I think like that type of lifestyle is very, very, very appealing now. And I think that's kind of like authentic Dan, do you know? I'm not trying to be like, you know, break any fucking records like running or anything, but just like living that type of lifestyle. And obviously like have a few pints whenever the time comes, but just, but yeah, I think that's authentic. I think that might resonate with a few people. It's like,
in your target audience.
Resonates
In your
with
target
all of
audience
us,
there.
weirdly enough.
yeah.
Can I ask a question then? Like, because you got Ambr Eyewear up and running, that was hugely successful at its peak, and then you find challenges, now you're going again. Like, that kind of contradicts this nice lifestyle that you're talking about. You say you're working on the Saturday, like, why do you keep going again and again?
Oh, dude, yeah, I don't know. I just, I have like a passion for like there's no better feeling than seeing someone like wearing one of your products ever. And I think like it's always been like such a buzz, that, you know? And like, and obviously like it's nice to make money when you sleep as well, do you know? Like that's pretty good. But then also like I got like clothing samples for the winter range that I was talking about. I got it on Friday, and like just when those samples arrived from your man at the door, I was like absolutely buzzing like a child at Christmas. I was like, brilliant. Put them all on, and like got to take pictures of me, go out for a run, and I'm like, oh, brilliant. Right, so there's actually no better buzz than like having your own product. Like it's something to be like really proud of. And I used to see people wearing Ambr Eyewear glasses all over the place back in the day, and like I've started seeing people wearing these running and starting to get tagged by random people on Instagram, and it's just such a nice buzz, you know. And I think that's pretty much the reason. Yeah, it just gives you like a bit of meaning, I suppose, like a bit of like kind of an identity, I suppose. Do you know?
Have you found now that a third child on the way, congratulations by the way, your risk appetite will change at all? No?
Definitely not. I actually no. I don't
give two answers. One for your wife and one for
I feel like I'm very like you in that respect. I just kind of like, I just feel like I'll just keep plugging away at it until I crack it, like whatever that is, I'm not sure. But no, I just like I've got a good risk tolerance. I wouldn't have bought fucking 9,000 pairs of
A
sports
container in your back garden.
Yeah. He's like, would you not buy a house instead? He's like, no, we'll buy 9,000 pairs of sports
I love that. How's your risk appetite?
Risk
Well, I just
appetite.
got a shipping container put in my backyard.
It's hidden behind a tree now. The landlord won't see it.
Yeah, risk appetite probably won't be an issue.
Like, what does success look like? Do you think long-term acquisition,
No, not at all. No, I think just having loads of freedom.
build something sustainable?
I loved it when I was younger, when I could pay me and Sacha. We had like a salary from Ambr. We had all the time in the world. We could travel. We could go anywhere.
Brilliant.
Didn't really necessarily need to be that like rich. I just had so much time, you know. So I think that's probably the end goal, you know.
Dan, on that note,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Cheers, lads.
Appreciate you coming in here.
Finish my pint here.
Good
Cheers,
chat.
mate.
Cheers.
And good luck with everything.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Next summer, you'll be here and you'll be doing 50 grand a month. And we'll be replaying this back then. So